Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Sophia with Garden State Film Festival, and here with me are the creators of the web series Dead Enders. They have brought to us season 2, episode 3 at the Garden State Film Festival this year. How are you guys doing?
Great. Thriving.
Thriving. Love to hear it. Thank you so much for taking time out to talk to me today, and congratulations on your acceptance into Garden State Film Festival.
Oh, thank you.
So both of these people are the creators of the show. They also were both writers, producers, and both act on the show. So I'll have you guys introduce yourselves, whoever wants to get started with that.
Who wants to get started? I can get started because I started speaking. Hi, Nicole. I'm one of the co-creators from the show. I also play Maisie, and I write and produce, though it wasn't until our second season that I really understood fully what produce meant. And but yeah, just happy to be here.
Thank you, Nicole. Anna?
I'm so sorry. My connection completely dropped for all of that, so I can only assume that Nicole said some truly fantastic stuff.
Nicole introduced herself.
It was really thank you.
Yeah,
I'm like a terrible lag right now, but I'm Anna. There's as Sophia said, I'm one of the co-creators of Dead Enders. And when I'm not working in film, I work as an emergency medicine physician.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. Thanks for adding that. That's so cool. So let's get started by telling our audiences a little bit about Dead Enders, and specifically about this episode, Red Sky at Morning, Preppers Take Warning. What a title. Yeah, whichever one of you want to give a little synopsis.
Sure, I can start only because Anna's on a lag. So I will, but Anna, please hop in whenever I miss.
I got you, babe. You're good.
Something. Oh my God, thank you. So Dead Enders is a comedy web series that follows a group of doomsday preppers during the zombie apocalypse. It's a group of essentially mostly indoor kids and a couple outdoorsy ones who are, met on this zombie prepper forum. And it was something that we created very early on during the COVID pandemic in like April 2020. And it was just sort of to form like connections and to continue creating during this like really terrible time. It just sort of became a lot bigger than either of us ever anticipated. So season 2, episode 3 is kind of a very big moment in season 2. Our group of preppers are trying to reach this cell tower so that one of their own, Mac, who's sort of like one of the de facto leaders of the group, one of the aforementioned outdoorsy kids, he is trying to contact his family who's out in San Francisco, which is much more overcome with like the zombies at the time. So it's just about them trying to get there, but also having like a lot of little vignettes essentially with a bunch of with different groups of characters. Because really the show is like a like a zombie show and comedy. It really is like a very character driven ensemble heavy piece. So we just really loved to explore like all the connections between these characters and just how they all grew during the apocalypse.
Yeah, I think this episode is perfect in like introducing a lot of the characters, not introducing them, but really like diving into each single one of them while also showing the action and what the show's about. It's kind of has a little bit of everything in this episode.
I would say this is the episode that really like brings together the stuff from the first season and like what gets to be exciting about the second season. I might have missed this if Nicole, you did say this, but the first season was entirely shot over Zoom. So we were all filming remotely. So the focus on that's pretty key, huh? So the focus
so important.
On relationships is like that's the entire point of season 1, and there is no action, so to speak. There's some sound designy action, but there's no staged action, and there's certainly no fight sequence. We were really excited for many reasons to get to shoot season 2 in person. But a big portion of that was getting to do with some of this like special effects work and fight sequences and intimacy sequences. And episode 3 gets all of those and also gets some of that interpersonal focus that season 1 really get to feature.
Wow. Thank you so much, Anna, for adding that. I can't believe you shot a whole
So
season
important.
through Zoom.
I can't believe we did that either.
Yeah,
That
do
is
you ever when like that felt like a more normal
impressive.
thing to do and you could just spend many hours doing that every day?
Wow.
Just craving that human connection.
The innovation and creativity that was brought, I mean, it was a horrible time, the pandemic, and we're still in it, but the things that people created through it is just so impressive. So congratulations to you both. I want to talk about how you guys first even created Dead Enders. How did the idea come to fruition, and how did you guys collaborate to create it together?
Yeah, so as you can tell, I'm sure by our energy, Anna and I are best friends, have been collaborators for a very long time, and we lived together for many years. And during the beginning of the pandemic, both of us are creatives. I primarily am a writer. Anna does everything, obviously, including emergency medicine, but also is a writer and is an actor. And we have a lot of friends in like the theater community, and just like in a lot of like creative art spaces, but primarily theater was hit really hard. Obviously, so many productions were shut down and everything was just sort of like grinding to a halt. So we were trying to find ways to keep creating something and but also, and initially we started off with like writing prompts and whatnot, which was great, but we were really missing this collaborative sort of environment. We were missing this ability to work with other artists and work with other creatives, because like nobody was interacting with each other, or like rarely were, in the case of like obviously Anna's like a healthcare worker. And so we were just thinking about like, okay, what if we did something on Zoom? Zoom's the new big thing right now. Let's figure out how to film something on Zoom. Now we were like, okay, what's a good show to film on Zoom? We knew we didn't want it to be like something about COVID, because we wanted to get away from that. We wanted to kind of distance ourselves from that because it was too new, too fresh, too depressing. I think that eventually we just sort of came upon this idea of like an apocalypse, as sort of like we wanted the characters to have a reason to like be indoors. We wanted to feel like we were getting a glimpse of like what their conversations would be like. And we just started coming up with the characters then, and it just sort of like, morphed into its own thing.
Wow. Anna, anything you want to add on the initial collaboration in creating Dead Enders?
Yeah, I think while initially we were hoping to avoid making a pandemic show, the plot and the premise are necessarily pandemic-y, and it became really exciting to try and integrate some of that in a way that felt not escapist, but it allowed us to like integrate what we were going through with in like a fiction way. And all of the actors we brought onto the project, as Nicole mentioned, are friends of ours and were instrumental in the creation of their own characters. And therefore were able to bring what was going on in their own lives to the plot and the premise of the production. And so this allowed for like a really plastic and flexible process. For me, that felt very valuable to get to like work on and work through some of the stuff that was really difficult at that time without looking at it head on.
And you both play characters in the show, Nicole, Maisie, and Anna, you play Harper. Do you guys relate to those characters that you play?
I like to, yes, I think I like to say that they are like the most exaggerated versions,
the worst possible versions of each of
truly the worst possible. And we say that with deep love and adoration for these characters, but like truly, Maisie is me, just like so much more, just turned all the way up, completely unfiltered, and definitely more like definitely very self-centered. And I think I won't speak, and I mean I plead the fifth on whether or not that's relatable. But I'll speak for Anna in saying that Harper is essentially the dumber version of Anna, and that's with love. I say this to Harper.
Oh, Harper's so dumb. She knows.
Harper is my favorite character. and she is truly head empty. But I love her to death.
I love
Um,
that. Anna, would you
yeah.
agree with that? And also, I love that Nicole said, who's your favorite character? Anna, do you relate to Harper, and who is your favorite character in the show?
Oh, that's so horrible, because now that Nicole said that Harper's her favorite character, but I don't say Maisie, then like I'm the bad friend
Don't
here.
say it. We
But
know. Don't
it's
say,
not Maisie.
Exactly.
No. Don't pander. We're not pandering here.
No, we're not
We're being
pandering. I just
authentic.
I'm gonna hear it off camera. Okay. Do I relate to Harper? Because we had this process where all the actors were able to bring in like their own stuff that they want to work on. Inevitably, all of us end up bringing a lot of our own stuff to it in like a an evolving way. And so while initially Harper felt like a very different person for me, in season 2, she starts to address more about themes of like belonging and found family, and this is like stuff that slowly started developing in season 1 and was like a lot more direct in season 2. And I found that like really such a joy to get to express and work on with these like really close friends. And so that part I really relate to. Harper's very independent and creative, but just like Nicole's absolutely right. There's no one home.
So,
And my favorite character. Oh, it's so horrible.
okay, if you don't have one, they're all
I don't know,
favorites.
it just feels mean. It feels wrong. I like Eleanor. I think she's really weird.
Yeah. So I want to talk to Nicole. You mentioned when you were talking about the show that season 2, you didn't realize how much goes into producing. So I want to ask you, what does go into producing a web series and Dead Enders?
Mhm. I think what goes into it, I mean, is a lot more sort of organizational, logistical skills than I thought really went into it. I didn't quite realize, and stuff that can feel so, that's not the like glamorous, exciting stuff of like being a producer, especially for like something in like an indie project and something that you are like essentially self-producing. It's a lot of just being like, okay, if we order these sandwiches for lunch today, is that going to be enough for everybody? And will they
Are
be
they going to be
mad?
mad about it?
Are they going to be mad about it? The answer is yes, inevitably. I think especially being a producer, you're just going to have to be, the reality is that it's a lot of work and energy, and part of you has to like not harden yourself to it, but definitely become aware that like you're essentially like leading the project and you are like in charge of it. So like if someone is unhappy with something, or if like something goes wrong, even though even if it's not your fault, it's still kind of like this is still your baby, and you're the one that got everybody here together. So it's like, but it's learned a lot to not take it personally, and to still really try to focus on this idea that like, we loved everyone that we like were working with, and like we really were all here to create something really unique and exciting. Yeah, no, and I feel like it's definitely, I learned a lot. But like I found that I also, I enjoy essentially helping get this project to like where we wanted it to go and like finished.
It sounds like a lot to do, especially on top of acting in it. A lot
Oh yeah.
to think about.
Yeah, I like to say, this is so horrible, but as Maisie, I gotta be honest, I was really just like mostly having a good time. Definitely tried, and I memorized my lines as best as I could, which is ironic given I wrote half of the scripts. But like, and sometimes I'd flub my line. I'd be like, Nicole, you wrote
Right.
this.
What is the excuse? Oh man.
But yeah, no, I think for me the acting it was definitely stressful, because I was like, oh no, now we're actually doing it and people are watching me act. It's not just people on the Zoom screen. Because yeah, I'm primarily a writer, and I like to act for fun. So that was I definitely felt a lot of that during that summer.
And Anna, can you talk to me about filming this episode in particular, season 2, episode 3? Because like we talked about, there was intimate moments and talking and vignettes, but there was also a lot of action. So what went into filming this, and how long did filming take?
Sure. Most of this was meant to be filmed over, this particular episode was meant to be filmed over the July 4th weekend, and it was pouring rain. So it almost all got rescheduled, with the exception of, I think, one scene and one shot. And the rest of it got rescheduled to mostly late August. So the fight sequence is all like the last weekend of August, the hottest days of the year. And it was incredibly sweaty. And the zombie makeup is really cloying, and the fake blood had chunks of fruit in it, and everything smelled really ripe. And it was so wonderfully delightful. Because like it was just like fun and bodily and not very serious, that fight sequence. It was just like a lot of movement and energy. And by the end of it, we were all like sunbaked and exhausted and like salty.
So sweaty.
And so sweaty. Our director of photography, Katie Colwell, her shorts, you could like wring them out. Like it was so hot that day. And after we wrapped, we all took showers and went to the bar and had like a fantastic like end of production drinks. And that was like a really perfect way to end the summer. The rest of the episode was like scattered throughout the production calendar. And for most of the characters, this represents like a crucial portion in their interpersonal arcs. Maisie and Eleanor like have to confront their relationship after meeting in person for the first time in their romantic relationship. Harper and Leo had slept together the previous night and then have to have a conversation about like what they want to be doing in their relationship. Mac is incredibly stressed about rescuing his niece and has like no good way to express his stress. And Jody and Rebecca, Rebecca being a new member of the group, sort of catch each other up on where they're at and how the apocalypse has been going for them. So this like for all these pairs of characters, a really like crucial turning point in their arcs that set them up for the rest of the season. And so in general, these like 2-person scenes were shot like slightly later in the calendar to allow for like more of that organic feeling between the actors and the comfort between the actors to be generated. Speaking for my own experience with that, Daniel Cabrera, who plays Leo, he and I have worked together quite a bit and have played romantic opposites before together, which is, it just makes it really fun and easy, and we're like really good friends, and it just makes it very simple. That being said, every time we start a new project together, there is like a recalibration period, especially like calibrating with these new characters. And when we shot that scene, it was maybe like midway through the summer. We'd really just start to like click into that feeling again. And it was like kind of the perfect timing for that, right. Where we both felt comfortable with each other, but not so comfortable that the curiosity wasn't there, which is really lovely.
That sounds perfect. And we're wrapping up on this interview, even though this has been such a pleasure. I could talk to you guys about this all day. I know so much went into making it, and this is just season 2, and you have a whole other season. So I want to talk on how we can see season 1 and maybe the rest of season 2. Is it public anywhere?
Yes. So season 1 is on YouTube, soon to be on Vimeo. Thank you for reminding me about that. But season 2 is in its entirety is on Vimeo. Anyone can watch it there. We also have we have a recap video for season 1 for those who are impatient and want to just dive into the actual action. We definitely do not begrudge you at all. And I think that I know there it was long before anybody knew how to edit anything. But so you can watch all of season 2 right now on our Vimeo.
Oh, and that URL is vimeo.com/deadenders2. No hyphen.
Love it. Thank you guys so much.
I'm so glad I was just about to look that up.
Yeah, let me talk about how they can see it at Garden State Film Festival. Yes. If you want to rush to see season 2, episode 3 before diving into it on Vimeo. It will be playing Saturday, March 25th in Cranford Theater at 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. So that film block, definitely check out this awesome episode. And will you guys be there?
We'll be there.
Yeah. Awesome. So then you can meet the creators of the show. That'll be such a pleasure. Thank you both so much for taking the time out. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
See you at the festival.